Well, thank you very much. This has been an honor. Long trip, but worth it. Tremendous things have been accomplished. Wonderful speeches, wonderful countries. NATO summit in the Netherlands. Last weekend, the United States successfully carried out a massive precision strike on Iran's nuclear enrichment facilities. Very successful. It was called obliteration. We call it the 12-day war. It sounded like the right name. It was a 12-day war. And we think it's over. I don't think they're going to be going back at each other. I don't think so. We've also reasserted the credibility of American deterrence, which is like no other. You know, I rebuilt the entire military during my first term.
Oh, sure you did.
2%, and we got it up to 5%, something that no one really thought possible. And they said, "You did it, sir, you did it." Well, I don't know if I did it, but I think I did. Horrible situation with Russia and Ukraine, and hopefully we're going to get that solved. Should have never happened, would have never happened if I was president. I said it 1,000 times. But it's vital that this additional money be spent on very serious military hardware. Hopefully that hardware is going to be made in America because we have the best hardware in the world. 14 missiles were shot at us the other day. They were very nice. They gave us warning. They said, "We're going to shoot them. Is 1 o'clock okay?" They said, "It's fine." And everybody was emptied off the base, so they couldn't get hurt except for the gunners. They call them the gunners. All 14, as you know, were shot down by our equipment. Amazing stuff. Amazing. It's like shooting a bullet with a bullet. It's the same thing if you think about it. As you know, we made a deal with Ukraine to take a vast amount of the land they have for minerals. We need it.
Thanks. You're a real pal.
The Netherlands, great place. A statement came in from the Atomic Energy Commission of Israel. This is an official letter, and they're very serious people, as you know. The devastating U.S. strike on Fordo destroyed the site's critical infrastructure and rendered the enrichment facility totally inoperable. It was devastated. We assess that the American strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities has set back Iran's ability to develop nuclear weapons for many years to come. Our pilots, you know, they were maligned and demeaned by fake news CNN, which is back there, believe it or not. Nobody's watching them, so they're just wasting a lot of time, wasting my time. And the New York Times, they put out a story that, well, maybe they were hit, but it wasn't bad. Well, it was so bad that they ended the war. It ended the war. It was so devastating, actually. If you look at Hiroshima, if you look at Nagasaki, you know, that ended a war too. This ended a war in a different way, but it was so devastating. Fake reports put out by the New York Times. I call it the failing New York Times because it's doing terribly. Without me, it would be doing no business at all. Fake news, CNN and MSDNC, all of these terrible people, you know, they have no credibility. You know, when I started, they were at 94% credibility, the media. Now it's at 16%. And I'm very proud of it because I've exposed it for what it is.
You just made all that up.
Well, it was really bad. It was devastating. They were obliterated. In fact, you can't get into the tunnels. They just put that over. That just came out. They can't, there's nothing, there's no way you can even get down. The whole thing is collapsed in a disaster. I think all of the nuclear stuff is down there because it's very hard to remove. And they also knew we were coming, so I don't think too many people want to be down there knowing we're coming with the bunker busters, as we call them. We have the best equipment, best nuclear. We can't forget our submarine, but submarine was out there. It was in the ocean, and we shot a total of 30, every single one of them 9 inches. These incredible flyers, these people that can fly a plane.
You mean the pilot?
It was virtually moonless. It was very dark, amazing. Marco Rubio with me, and Pete Hegseth, Secretary of State and Secretary of War. We feel like warriors. Do we have any questions, please? Wow. That's a lot of questions. The site is obliterated, and we think everything nuclear is down there. They didn't take it out. Blue dress, here we go. I'm picking the beauties today. Go ahead.
Mr. President.
Cutie.
Because, you know, in the last few weeks, we took care of India and Pakistan.
Really? Happy news to that.
But we'll come back to that.
Kosovo, Serbia. I think on Friday we have coming in, the Congo is coming in, and Rwanda is coming in. That was a vicious war that went on, a machete war, heads chopped off all over Africa. Go ahead, white dress. The United States right now is the hottest. Everybody wants to be there. Everybody wants a piece of it. A year ago, your country was dead. You had a deadhead running it, and it was dead. The United States right now is the hottest country in the world.
It's so hot right now.
How are you?
You once said that you would end the Ukraine war in 24 hours. You later said you said that sarcastically.
Well, of course it was sarcastic. I would have a peace deal negotiated within 24 hours. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, I will have the disastrous war between Russia and Ukraine settled. And it will take me no longer than one day. So I'd have this thing settled in 24 hours. I will end that war in one day. It'll take 24 hours. I know Zelensky well. I know Putin well. I would get that ended in a period of 24
You can break that deal.
100%. It would be easy. That deal would be easy. I would get a settlement in 24 hours. I will get it settled before I even become president. If I win, when I'm president-elect, and what I'll do is I'll speak to one, I'll speak to the other, I'll get them together.
But as a candidate, you said you would have this war settled in 24 hours.
Well, I was being a little bit sarcastic when I said that. I would. What I really mean is I'd like to get it settled.
But you've now been in office for 5 months and 5 days. Why have you not been able to end the Ukraine war? Because it's more difficult than people would have any idea. Vladimir Putin has been more difficult. Frankly, I had some problems with Zelensky. You may have read about him. A dictator without elections. Zelensky better move fast or he's not going to have a country left. Got to move fast because that war is going in the wrong direction. In the meantime, we're successfully negotiating an end to the war with Russia.
Do you have any message for Ukrainians who, after 3 years of fighting, might feel betrayed or disappointed at not having a seat at these initial talks in Saudi Arabia?
Well, I think I'm really disappointed in what's happened. I've been watching this for 3 years. It's a war that would have never happened if I was president. And I think I have the power to end this war. And I think it's going very well. But today I heard, oh, well, we weren't invited. Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have ended it 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal. I could have made a deal for Ukraine that would have given them almost all of the land, everything, almost all of the land, and no people would have been killed, and no city would have been demolished, and not one dome would have been knocked down.
Zelensky had felt compelled to correct the record because Mr. Trump on Tuesday had said that Ukraine had started the war.
We understand where it's coming from, Russia, and we have evidence that these figures are being discussed between the US and Russia. Unfortunately, President Trump, whom we deeply respect as the leader of a nation we highly value, is also caught in this disinformation space. I would like to see more truth from Trump's team.
And it's been more difficult than other wars. I mean, look, we just ended a war in 12 days that was simmering for 30 years, frankly. But maybe the most important of all, India and Pakistan. And that wasn't whether or not they may someday have nukes like we're talking about in the Middle East, like we're talking about with Israel and Iran. This is they have nuclear weapons. I ended that with a series of phone calls on trade.
Prime Minister Modi clearly told President Trump that during the entire course of the event, India-America trade deal or mediation between India and Pakistan were never discussed at any level. All discussions relating to cessation of military action took place directly between India and Pakistan through existing channels of the two armed forces and took place at Pakistan's request. Prime Minister Modi said with great emphasis that India had never accepted mediation, nor does it accept it, nor would it ever do so.
I said, look, if you're going to go fighting each other, it was getting very bad. You know how bad that last attack was. It was really bad. If you're going to go fighting each other, we're not doing any trade deal. No, you have to do a trade deal. They said, we're not doing any trade deal.
But that didn't happen, did it?
And I said, we're not doing a trade deal if you're going to fight. And if you're going to fight each other, we're not doing a trade deal. And you know what? They said, no, I want to do the trade deal. We stopped the nuclear war. Go ahead.
You were criticizing the Federal Reserve Chair before coming to this summit.
Yeah, I think he's terrible. But we have no inflation. And I said to him, listen, there's no inflation. He says, but maybe there'll be some. That's true. I said, if there is some, what you do is raise the rate. I'm okay with that because of this very average mentally person. He's an average mentally person. low IQ for what he does, okay? I think he's a very stupid person, actually. Here we go. There's another one.
Hello, sir. Thank you very
We got them all today.
Okay. So, Mr. President, you talked about expecting some on-the-ground assessments at Fordo and other sites.
Now here,
Is that
here
Israeli and U.S.?
It's been obliterated, Kelly. It's been
What is your message then, sir, to the intelligence community when they present reports? You're not disputing the DIA report. You're just...
They presented a report that wasn't finished. We're talking about something that took place 3 days ago.
I understand. That's
the report was done 2 days ago. Wait a minute.
Yes.
They didn't see it. All they can do is take a guess. Now, if you take a look at the pictures, if you take a look how it's all blackened, you know the fire and brimstone is all underground because it's granite and it's all underground. You don't show it. But even there, with all of that being said, the whole area for 75 yards around the hole where it hit is black with fire.
If you want to make an assessment of what happened at Fordo, you better get a big shovel and go really deep, because Iran's nuclear program is obliterated. And somebody somewhere is trying to leak something to say, oh, with low confidence, we think maybe it's moderate. Those that dropped the bombs precisely in the right place know exactly what happened when that exploded. And you know who else knows? Iran.
I'm not referring to you, but real scum come out and write reports that are as negative as they could possibly be. It should be the opposite. White jacket? Yeah.
Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you daddy earlier.
Daddy has sometimes used strong language.
Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy. Thank you very much. That was quite an exciting time. Remember this, we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. Thank you.